Thanks, Masher. After McKinsey presenting and four of my stalwart colleagues presenting, talking on the same subject is like Elizabeth Taylor's sixth husband. Nothing more to speak, nothing more to explore. But in medical terms, what they call it is operation failed and patient died. Then they say operation is successful but patient died. In this case, what I see is operation is successful, patient is happy, that is, industry is doing well, customers are happy, 3.2 and 85%, and still we are worried about the processes, the way in which operation was done. And I think it's a good sign because to me, the inefficiencies are built in this industry because of the pay scale at which it is growing, and also because of the labor arbitrage that we enjoyed all this time. I think the inefficiencies got built in, and therefore it is very important to sort of introspect and see whether what we're doing is right. And initially when I saw the presentation which Vivek gave in our office, most of our senior managers went defensive. No, we don't do this, we don't do that. This is not the way we do it. And then the reaction from me was that, no, let's not be defensive, let's accept it, because none of these observations are surprises, including Mumbai. Okay, they're not surprises to me because of the cultural issues, because of the cost issues, and because of various other attitude issues that we have. Another point that I want to make is most of us, and I don't know the notion I mentioned that, but all the companies that he covered were SAI level 5 companies. And we have 65, 75% of SAI level 5 companies in India, and still we have these observations. But most of us, I think, believe that having SAI level 5 or ISO or BS 7799 is the end in it. But it is not end, it is a means to achieve the excellence. And I think that particular culture needs to come into the company everywhere. And you have to ensure that when we are doubling the company every 2.5 years or 1.5 years, we have to ensure that the newcomers who are building this company are also the same culture. While SCI level 5 was a snapshot 2.5 years back or probably 6 years back, it is not anymore existing there, and we need to inculcate that kind of culture here. And the second point I'll make is to achieve this, we need to do two things. One is we have to change the India brand as labor arbitrage, because the labor arbitrage is hurting us ourselves now. Because I have to ensure that one day we are not going to service US market, we are probably going to service Indian market and Chinese market. And whether our operational excellence is good enough where we will not have labor arbitrage as an advantage, but whether we will be able to service domestic market and Chinese market, which is going to come up in near future, we will be able to do it only if we build these excellencies in operations now. And the last point on that is, for that, I think what we need to build is not anything else but the knowledge asset. And knowledge asset, more we build, I think is going to help us a lot, because that knowledge, and what I mean by knowledge asset is more on the domain knowledge, on the process excellence, on the excellence islands as you call them, to make them patentable rights. And anywhere somebody, we run a mortgage shop in Gurgaon, and my sort of given KRA to people there is create patentable right in mortgage processing, whereby anywhere in the world you're processing mortgage, it is the Equinox way that we work. That is the sort of KRA we should build, and that's the way we will get that excellence. Thank you very much.
All right, now hopefully we come to the fiery part of the presentation. We'd like to throw it open to you for questions and answers. Could you please stand up, direct your question to any of the panelists. For Vivek and my health, please specify if you're a captive or a third party to asking that question. But we'd like to ask you now to ask us questions. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Narendra Singh. I'm from Utopia. We are in the data quality services and third party. My question is more specifically on the Mumbai findings, and I know you're kind of ready to give a little more detail as to what are the mitigating factors. Obviously, there are high costs on one side, attitude or workforce or others. Can you give a little bit more detail so that we understand it more than just the aha?
Sure. Are you based in Mumbai?
No, Bangalore.
Okay. The findings, by the way, are equally true for Bangalore for other types of processes. But the simple answer is that if one looks at wages, rental costs, etc., as a proportion of the true operating cost, and what influences the operating cost, it is actually a very small factor. Because if I give you an example, a shift utilization move from 1.6 down to 1 actually causes roughly a $2 to $3 differential, right? So simply put, the operating parameters, attrition, right? If you are running attrition combined, 120-day less or 120-day plus, at more than 60%, which some of the centers unfortunately are running at, right? You'll find that the investment that you make in recruitment and training is so dramatic that it outweighs any kind of cost that you're paying on compensation, right? So put very simply, right, the practices of recruitment, training, workforce management, which ensures utilization, people management, which at the end of the day keeps your people, etc., right? Those are the predominant factors or drivers of cost, not the ones we typically look at which are attributed to a city.
Actually, I just want to add a comment. Let me also distinguish between Navi Mumbai and Mumbai. I don't know what has been taken into account in the data. Hexaware is having a large center in Navi Mumbai and Mahape. We have center in Chennai as well. Both, if I were to compare over a long period of time and in current costs, there is no way, there is no element where the cost is higher in Navi Mumbai. Even rent today is lower and not higher than in Chennai. So I think Navi Mumbai is, if we were to look at and remove the perception in our mind of Mumbai, clearly there is no reason to doubt this finding. Of course, I am also as much Mumbaikar, born and brought up here as Deepak is.
I'm Veer Sagar, third party. I have two little questions. One is in your cost. Can you tell me what is the range? Because if I'm a medical transcription, and I don't wonder if you've taken things like medical transcription or legal transcription, if they're working at $7.50 an hour, they would be minus 100% profit. And secondly, what is corresponding figure for software? Thanks.
Sorry. Okay, I'll just respond very quickly, and then maybe somebody else would like to add. The data range in our sample, firstly, what I showed you was for rules-based decisioning, which is a different type of activity. So we classified the activities into data entry, rules-based decisioning, knowledge and analytics services, right? And each of those costs obviously are different. The range within that sample is as much as 200%. So within the sample on data entry, for example, the cost can vary as much as 200%. Right? Vivek, you want to comment on software?
Yeah, I think the other substantial point is the fact that when you look at most parties, I think that Naushad made this point earlier as well. Being very clear, if you are a BPO provider getting into multiple service lines, understanding that the wages you're going to be paying, the practices you will be deploying, and the extent to which there's differentiation is critical. Because you're absolutely right. If you're running a medical transcription business next to a legal KPO business, next to a rules-based decisioning process, you better have some pretty high Chinese walls around both practices and the kind of people you recruit. I think what we're finding is larger vendors tend to be recruiting from similar pools and tend to not be as effective in making those differentiations.